So we're looking at Moses' first 40-day fast. There are several mentioned throughout Scripture, and scholars sometimes even debate on, was it back to back? Was it 80 days, 120 days? But how separate were these things? But we do know there were for sure three, and it seems to be that they were kind of these three separate times. In this first one, we see that he comes up and down that mountain so many times, getting information from God, coming down and back and forth before the actual 40-day fast is implemented. And that reason that he does that is it's a fasting to establish a covenant with God. You see that right before that 40-day fast, he brings them together. He sprinkles the blood as a symbolic reference to the Passover that they have already participated in, as well as some other things that you can read throughout the Old Testament. And it's to establish a covenant. What is a covenant? It's beyond just like a little contract or an agreement. A covenant is an exchange of two people or two things, an exchange between them, and an agreement within that exchange that it will not be violated. And that is what we are here to do in this fast. This is not just a challenge in the sense of, I just want to see if I can do it, that was fun. But I really need to cope right now. And I really need to life's been crazy today. I need to just watch something mindless on social media or do this or do that. No, we have established a covenant with God. Yes, even with his people, the people that we're doing this fasting, because we've committed to saying we're going to do this. But through this fast, we're establishing a covenant with God, an exchange of these two things to say, I will uphold my end, God, and God has never failed to uphold his end, that he always meets us there when we stay true to our word. He's always been true to his. We can see that from the Old Testament to the New Testament, and even in our lives itself. And so when we look at this idea of fasting as a covenant, fasting itself is that kind of a temporary agreement covenant to say, God, I'm going to remove this thing and replace it with your spirit for X amount of time or for X amount of things or whatever it is that we're doing, to say, I'm establishing this covenant with you now to exchange these things to where when I go into my normal daily life and rhythm, it is no longer just the normal life like other people live. It is in fact a transcendent life, a spiritual life that is living and growing in me more and more, and I want to continue to establish that covenant through fasting. There is one thing that we actually use in our day and age a lot that we still use the word covenant on. It's about the only thing left, and that's marriage. Marriage is even says, usually it says the marriage license and marriage agreement, but when we talk about it, we always talk about the covenant side, because the idea is in fact that these two people, this finds its roots all the way back in Genesis, that these two people, this man and this woman, come together and they cease at that point to exist as two separate entities, but now they become one. Two people living out the same life with the same desires and the same thoughts and the same directions. That's the idea of marriage. We even say from Genesis that for this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. Be bonded together and be clung together as one now. And that is exactly what we're doing with this fast as a covenant with God. We're saying, God, I want to become one with you now. And I'm going to remove these other things from my life, and I'm going to cling to you because you are the truth, and that is the life and that I want and desire, the rhythm in life that I want. And in fact, I want to become one with you, one with your will, plan, purpose, desires, one with your kingdom, working in tandem together with God as a covenant. Marriage is our symbolic kind of reference and nature to that. And that is what we are doing here with this. So don't take it so lightly. Yes, let it settle on you. Yes, don't be afraid to stumble and fail forward a little bit, but wipe all that ideas of being able to give yourself outs and excuses and go straight to the idea of this was a covenant that I've made with God. Not unlike a covenant marriage that I am saying I want to become one with, and I will hold true and hold fast to this beyond anything else, because I am spirit with a body, and I'm feeding my spirit, detoxing from the nonsense and the things of this world. So let's fast together as covenant with God.